Morning, students. Today we're going to start with the reading of the chapter, The Ailing Planet, the Green Movement's Role. This chapter, it discusses the condition of the earth, right? And how man has dominated the planet, and as a result of the harmful activities of man, how we have harmed earth in many cases irrevocably. That means it's going to be very difficult to restore it to its original position, right? As it was many years ago. But yes, here being aware that taking care of the planet is not one person's responsibility. It is everybody's responsibility. So if we are aware of the need to take care of our planet, there are chances that we can still revive it. Okay. Here what has been discussed that the different aspects of the planet, how they have been harmed by human activity, right? And in some cases, yes, we have caused many species to become extinct. Some are endangered, and many of these species we don't even know about their existence. Okay, what do you think is a green movement? Yes, what do you think is a green movement? Who's going to give me the answer? Anyone? You can raise your hand. Tell me, what do you think is a green movement? Yes, anyone? What is a green movement? How is it important for us to take care of the planet? Yes, what is a green movement? Anybody? Yeah. No one? Wait, let me admit the students. Yes, it is green movement. Yeah, afforestation. Very good. Yes. And planting more and more trees. And yes, of the planet. Do you think we are planting enough trees? Do you think we are taking care of our environment? Are we? Yes. Yes, we are cutting more trees, growing because so much of development, so much of changes taking place. We're talking about industrialization, we're talking about urbanization, and as a result of it, the green cover has been reduced. We're talking about the widening of the roads, highways, and flyovers being built. And what are we sacrificing? We are sacrificing the green cover. And if you look at this essay, it was written so many years ago, and after, like what you can say, it's like what, 30 years more, and how it is absolutely relevant. The changes we are discussing, this is what is happening. We have brought our planet to a very critical situation, and we need to realize that we have to, yes, take a positive approach and make the care of our planet, make the care of our environment a priority, right? And yes, so here once again I'm going to give the example how during the lockdown, when there were less traffic on the, we were not outside, there was less pollution, how the air quality improved, right? And how the water quality improved. Yes, so it is very important that we need to give time to nature to revive itself. We're talking about the water level. What is happening to the water level nowadays? It has depleted so much. We don't have groundwater left. isn't it? So it's very, very important we start taking care of that. We're starting using the surface water because we have depleted the groundwater, right? So whether it is like, yes, how much water is required, whether it's our irrigation practices, whatever it is there, we have caused a lot of damage. Okay, so we start with the reading of this article, and one thing when we read this chapter, what is it that we are going to realize? We have to realize the needs of the planet. What is it ailing planet means? The planet is sick, right? The planet is not well. The planet is showing signs of not being well, and we have to address those issues, right? So right from being selfish, just being concerned about our little space, our little area, we have to change our thinking and think about the earth as not belonging to you and me, but belonging to all of us, and getting out that no, it is not an individual's effort, it is everyone has to join hands, right? And if we take care of nature, only then earth is going to take care of us, right? So this is one very, very important thing, that across borders, cross boundaries, cross barriers, we have to take care of our planet Earth. Yes, so we have got this Earth right here, the only planet that we have where we can survive. So we must make sure that we keep it in a good condition so that we can give it to the future generations, so that you people can enjoy the beauty of the Earth. Okay, so we need to act now. Now, the following article was written by Nani Palkhiwala and published in the Indian Express on 24th November 1994. The issues that she raised regarding the declining health of the earth continue to have relevance. Yes, taking care of the earth is going to be a priority. One cannot recall any movement in world history which has gripped the imagination of the entire human race so completely and so rapidly as the Green Movement, which started nearly 25 years ago in 1972. The world's first nationwide Green Party was founded in New Zealand. Since then, the movement has not looked back. So we're talking about what, more than 50 years ago, right? When the Green Movement began. And it began in, where did it begin? In New Zealand. Which year? 1972. What do you think it is about? It's about taking care of the environment. It is planting more and more trees. So Green Movement, it is awareness of the environment. It's about how we can take care of it. Yeah. Now we have shifted one hopes irrevocably. Let's hope that this thinking does not change. What? From the mechanistic view to a holistic and ecological view, right? That mechanistic, that we are dealing with parts, right? You look at a machine, right? So yes, if the machine is not working, you take care of one part and it will start working again, right? But now here we are talking like to a holistic and ecological view as a whole. Let us not think of the earth as in parts. You deal with this part, I will deal with this part. No, we all have to take care of it. Okay, ecological view. Ecology, what is it? It's a relation between man and environment, right, with nature. So we have to adopt that view, right? An ecological view, that is our concern towards the environment, how we need to take care of the environment. It is a shift in human perceptions as revolutionary as that introduced by Copernicus, who taught mankind in the 16th century that the Earth and the other planets revolved around the sun. So this is a big revolutionary change in human behavior. Which behavior? An ecological approach, a holistic approach. Just like when man realized that Earth is not the center of the universe, or Earth is not the center of the solar system, right? So learn that sun is there and Earth and all the planets, they revolve around it. Okay, so right in the 16th century when Copernicus told us. So this change in our behavior is as revolutionary as that. For the first time in human history, there's a growing worldwide consciousness that the earth itself is a living organism, an enormous being of which we are parts. So what happens to us if one part of us does not work properly, or yes, there's something wrong with it? Suppose you have a cold, your whole body feels that, isn't it, right? So you feel tired, you don't feel active. So just like that, we have to realize that the earth here, if one part is not well, it cannot be completely well, right? So we need to heal the planet. It has its own metabolic needs and vital processes which need to be respected and preserved. So it has its own metabolic needs and vital processes which need to be respected and preserved. The earth has its own metabolism because, yes, it's an organism. It has its needs. And who's going to take care of these needs? We are going to take care of these needs. How? Make sure that the earth functions properly by taking care of all the parts. Not only one, but every element that makes the earth. So whether it is the land, yes, the water, the atmosphere, everything, the organisms which are there on land and water. So we have to take care of all the elements. The earth's vital signs reveal a patient in declining health, right? So you go to the doctor checks your pulse and heartbeat and everything, and he tells you, right, after diagnosing the symptoms, what is the problem. The earth is also showing that its health is declining. This was so many years ago. Now you can imagine the health, how dangerous condition it might be. We have begun to realize our ethical obligations to be good stewards of the planet and responsible trustees of the legacy to future generations. Let us know one thing: we do not own this planet. It belongs to all of us. And we are here as caretakers, right? We are taking care of the planet, right? And we are going to take care of it in a good condition, make sure that we pass it on to the next generations in a good condition. Okay, so we have to be responsible. Legacy, what is the legacy? What we have inherited, what we are giving to our future generations. Okay, what is our ethical obligations as good citizens? We have to be good caretakers of the earth. So what are we going to give to our future generations? A good, healthy planet. Okay? Yes. Now, the concept of sustainable development was popularized in 1987 by the Commission on Environment and Development. What do you think is sustainable development? What is sustainable development? Yes? So what we need, isn't it, right? Yes, that we should be able to utilize the resources wisely so that we don't harm the needs of the future generation. Yes. So using our resources wisely and judiciously and making sure that the future generations' needs are also taken care of, isn't it? Right? So the concept of sustainable development was popularized in 1987 by the World Commission on Environment and Development. In its report, it defined the idea as development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their needs. So what is it? That we have to take care of not only our needs, but the needs of the future. Just a minute. Yes. Let me see. Yes, so it is development without causing harm to the environment. Right. So very good. So those who have given the reply, absolutely correct. So we have, it is not, like what, when you make something, like you cook a dish, you make a meal, you make sure that not only one person finishes it. Make sure it is shared. Every member gets their share. So like that, it is there that whatever resources we have on this planet, they should not be finished and depleted by one generation, but we must make sure that we have a method, we have a way so that the needs of the future generation are also taken care of. Okay? Is it clear? Yes. That is, without stripping the natural world of resources, future generations will need. In the zoo at Lusaka, Zambia, there is a cage with notice reads, the world's most dangerous animal. Inside the cage, there is no animal but a mirror where you see yourself. Thanks to the efforts of a number of agencies in different countries, a new awareness has now dawned upon the most dangerous animal in the world. He has realized the wisdom of shifting from a system based on domination to one based on partnership. So what is there in the zoo at Lusaka, Zambia? There's a cage and there's a notice, the world's most dangerous animal. A cage made, there is no animal. What is there in the cage? There is a mirror. And when you look in the mirror, who will you see? Yourself. And what will you realize? Who is the world's most dangerous animal? Yes? Who is the world's most dangerous animal? Can you tell me? We are the world's most dangerous animal, right? We are afraid of the wild animals in the forests and all, but they don't come here and deplete all the resources. They don't take more than what is necessary, right? So it is us, it is man, it is humans who are the most dangerous because they are destroying all the resources, they're destroying nature, cutting forests, they're polluting the water, polluting the soil, and yes, so that way we are very, very dangerous. What we have to realize that we cannot dominate the planet. We cannot dominate other species. We cannot dominate other animals. We have to learn to peacefully coexist. We have to learn to live as partners, right? So everybody needs the earth. We must ensure that all the needs are fulfilled. Okay, right. Scientists have catalogued about 1.4 million living species. Catalog means they have kept a record. Okay, right? So scientists have recorded about 1.4 million living species with which mankind shares the earth. So we're not the only species on earth. So many, right? And there are many estimates vary widely as regards the still uncatalogued living species. Biologists reckon that about 3 to 100 million other living species still languish unnamed in ignominious darkness. Scientists think that yes, we are aware, we say that 1.4 million living species are there, but some are still uncatalogued. There are some species, we don't have a record of them, right? And there are still maybe more than that. So 1.4 million we have a record of, but there are much more than that. Many, many species which we are not aware maybe of their existence. So, right? So besides man, there are so many species, and we need to make such an environment, we need to create such a system of living that we take care of other species. If we have made ourselves as dominant, we are there at top of the rung, right? And we think we are most intelligent, we can dominate the planet Earth. So it's very, very important that if we are going to control the planet, we control it in a way that everybody's needs are met. So not only the species on this planet, so many, but thinking about the future. This is called as sustainable development. Okay, so what are the things that we have learned about? We have read about holistic and ecological approach, right? What is that? That the earth is one living organism and we cannot deal with it in parts, right? And everyone has to treat it together. Ecology, we have to take care of our surroundings, we have to take care of our environment, right? Then we have read that who is the most dangerous animal? Yes, who's the most dangerous animal? Man is the most dangerous animal. Where is this? Where do we find this? We find this in a zoo at Lusaka, Zambia. Okay. Then what else have we learned? That there are so many species, right, besides us, and we need to take care of them. Okay. Which movement are we talking about? Which has brought about a change in our thinking towards environment? It is the green movement, right? So let's make the planet green. Let's make sure that there is a green cover. Okay, right? So these are the things which have happened, which are required to make sure that we live on a healthy planet and we pass on as a legacy to our future generations. What do we give to our future generations? A healthy planet. We have inherited it and we are going to leave it. Right? Fine? Is this clear to you? Is it clear? Now, one of the early international commissions which dealt into the area with the question of ecology and environment was the Grant Commission, which had a distinguished Indian as one of its members, Mr. L.K. Jha. The first Grant report raised the question, are we to leave our successors a scorched planet of advancing deserts, impoverished landscapes, and an ailing environment? This was noticed, say, 50 years ago. And this is a reality now. We are on our way to becoming a desert, right? And water is something that man cannot make. We can only conserve it. But do we do that? How many of us are really aware about systems of conserving water? How many of us conserve water? Do we know about rainwater harvesting? Right? Are we finding out ways of saving water? So unless and until we don't do all that, there is 100% certainty that yes, we are going to be living in a desert, right? And back to that age, we might be walking and looking for water for miles all together. Do we want such a situation to arise? Do we want this to happen? Do you? No, we don't. So we have to become concerned citizens of the earth, caretakers of our earth, and make sure that we act in an appropriate way to take care of our planet. Okay, right.